Welcome to the Illuminati Broadcast. I'm your host, David Moore. We're at 6 o'clock, and that's the hour of Venus. Next is Mercury at 7, and the moon at 8 o'clock p.m. So remember, at 8 o'clock on that day, it's going to be that planet's hour. So if it's a Monday at 8 o'clock p.m. or 8 o'clock in the morning, it's going to be moon energy. So you can always expect that to be like a reliable way to tell what time the planet is in, or what the hour is for the planet. So if we're in Venus, the name for the angels in Venus would be Haniel, Aniel. The planet is Venus. The metal is copper, and the color is green. And then for Monday at 6 o'clock, I think, what is this called? The magical name? It's an angel name, but it's Anael for 6 o'clock on Monday. So these are the angels and the names that they rule, the magical names of the hours and of the angels who rule them. So at 6 o'clock would be Rana and Anael. So I guess that's like a magical word, Rana and Anael. So we got this Venus energy. We have... That's for love, so maybe this would be a good time to open doors of love and blessings and opportunities and getting things that you want. Let's look at a Duke from the Ars Goetia real quick. I want to look at, let's see, I think his name is Bethine. Yeah, number 18, Bethine. He is a mighty and strong duke and appears like a strong man with the tail of a serpent sitting upon a pale-colored horse. He knows the virtue of herbs and precious stones and can transport men suddenly from one country to another. He rules over 30 legions of spirits. This is his seal. The one at the top. This one. And there's two of them. And that is going to be Oddish, Gloom, and Vileplume. You can kind of see Vileplume's like leaves on the top, like the Rafflesia thing, and you can see Vileplume's body shape right there. I have some drawings and sketches of it because I really, really love Vileplume. That's one of my favorite Pokemon. I was really happy to see it when the Pokemon Championship stuff on the anime thing. Like, there's this little anime thing about it winning, and being like this strong Pokemon. And it's true. It's a really beautiful, cute Pokemon. Okay, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Let's see. You can see the flowers on his head match that, and they have that circle effect. It's green, so it lets you know that it's in Venus. It can use poisons and powders, and it has love abilities. You can just see Oddish and Gloom in it. It's just cute. Alright, cool. And, it's a mandrake. But yeah, anyway, so, yeah, you have that guy. I think he can, like, transport you from one kingdom to another or something, right? Which would be pretty cool to see. I think they were going to go for, like, a helicopter thing with the flowers on its head, but they kind of do that in Zelda with the Deku Scrubs. He, like, gets those flowers and he flies around. But it's an air sign, so it lets you know it travels. Maybe that's how it spreads its pollen and seeds or whatever. I don't know. Alright, let's see what we can talk about. So we have this history about, like, the Aryan race, Atlantis, the Ashkenazis, and their evolution through the world, and then the Manikins that oppose them and make it very difficult for them. There's even stories about Mormonism where the Native Americans are Hebrews, and that might be very true because I have some of that DNA in me, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And then they have an angel that they worship named Moroni, and then my last name is More O'Neill, and then my grandfather's adoptive last name is Moreno, so it has that Moroni effect. And they were treasure hunters too. They were really good at the Ars Goetia, and making Bibles and new stories and creating a better world all the time. Politicians and aristocrats, so they own land and all these other things. But as time passed on, my family got smaller and smaller, and the Manikins were just taking over everything, so it was like more difficult to be dominant, and my family was very physical at that time, so they were like soldiers in wars. And then I came along and I was like, no more fighting, no more wars, no more pain, let's just, be good people and let there be love and let there be light. And then eventually the mannequins took over that kind of like. I was lucky enough that I got my family to be able to be set off on their own, where they don't have to worry about mannequins, and they don't have to worry about fighting them off either, because they're off doing good. But I have to worry about them because I'm stuck in a zone where there's a lot of mannequins, and I have to figure out how to destroy them because they're just taking over the earth, and I can't do anything with physical violence, so you have to do everything to the spiritual realm. I'm not very a physical violent person. If I had an army, yeah, sure, but I don't. So I just have to do everything in the spiritual realm, do magic, do witchcraft, do rituals and incantations and whatnots. And tomorrow's Tuesday, so I'm planning to like absorb a lot of that energy and put it out into the universe and make my magic stronger. I feel like it just needs a boost, a level up, kind of like a opening of a door on that sense. So today's good for opening up that love energy, bringing it down, and then you could send it straight into your ritual. Let's see what else we could do. Tomorrow's going to be Tuesday, so then you have Mars. Yeah. But it's also in that material energy, because right now we're in Virgo. The moon is in Virgo because it's the month of Virgo. So remember, the month is the moon, and this month is Virgo's month. So the moon is in Virgo. You have the other one where everybody follows that astrology stuff, and then that's that. But right now we're doing this. Oh, let's go over my chart real quick, because I have one in here. I think I have one on my phone too, but it might be written down right here where we can look at my birth chart and its calculations and go over that real quick. I wonder how much of I have written down as well. I don't know. Oh well, I have just the basics. So I have my sun in Gemini. I have my moon in Pisces, my Venus in Gemini, my Mars is in Cancer, my Jupiter is in Gemini, my Mercury is in Gemini, and my Saturn is in Capricorn. Alright, so let's kind of dissect those ones real quick. So the sun is what everybody sees, it's what you feel, it's how you act in the world. So I have this Gemini energy. So basically, I just think I'm the best. I enjoy my dualities. Usually when you look at Gemini, you can see the story of Odysseus and Hermes and the Odyssey, because he's like this hero that goes through all these stories, and it's also representative of the Trojan War and how the gods all fought for it. So it's just this war energy, but also like who's gonna win, who deserves to win. And you can see that in Castle Demon Lord, as some of the lore, like my character wants to win, and it loves the competition, it loves the battle, it loves the stories. There's just a lot of love for greatness. And that's why people hate Geminis, because they're like, oh, they're two faces. So you have the Mannequin Gemini, and then you have an Ashkenazi Gemini. An Ashkenazi Gemini, we're the superheroes, we're the villains. We have a lot of magic, we have a lot of physical powers. We have we're really top tier. So we'd be like up there. And then you have the Mannequin Gemini, which is, sneaky, conniving, backstabbing, two-faced, etc. Like we're two-faced too, but we kind of own it, and we actually enjoy it. They're just doing it because it's like a copy mechanism. I'm telling you, like the copy part is crazy. Like, all right, in the anime Freyren, you see like this kid. It kills it's a demon, and it kills this child, and everybody's going after that demon, and they're like, hey, you killed this kid, you're evil. And he's like, mommy, please save me. So then they kind of give him a chance. They give him the benefit of the doubt, because they want to believe that there's something good out there, like that a demon can change. And then the demon ends up killing the dad, and he like gets the daughter, and he's like, here, like this is the one for the one I killed. And he's kind of like making this deal or this bargain. And then once he gets killed, she's like, why do you always pretend that you have a mom? And he's like, because it makes humans stop before they attack us. Like, humans believe that we care about having a mom. Like, it's the one thing that makes them think, like, oh no, I gotta take care of this demon, So that's the Mannequin. Like, they just copy so much of what a real Ashkenazi, a real person is. So they just copy, and it's scary, because it's like, everybody will believe it. But that's the thing, like, all the other Ashkenazis, I mean, all the other mannequins will be like, oh, dang. But then the Ashkenazi will be like, no, that's a liar. So we got to watch out for that one, you know? But you got to be careful because, yeah, the mannequins are everywhere. They're just humans that are going to go to hell. They know they're going to go to hell. They're basically God's enemies on earth. They're just living to exist and ruin God's good time, basically. All right, so we have Moon in Pisces. Pisces is ruled by the planet Saturn. In the magical rings of Solomon, in the key of Solomon, Pisces is with Jupiter. So you can kind of see how would Jupiter mix with that. Well, Jupiter is a planet of wealth and water, and Pisces is that kind of siren, mermaid, energy, and they're pretty much wealthy and watery. But we could probably dive into that and figure that out a little bit more. But on the astrology that we have nowadays, the modern one, we have Pisces and Saturn really close to each other. But these hours would be like maybe like when the nightfall starts, when the nighttime starts. So like around this area when it starts getting darker, that would be like Pisces energy. And then that makes sense too because, the sun's going down, and that's kind of what Saturn represents, is the sun rising and going down. It has this duality to it. And that's also where the 3 stars come in, the 666, because it's like, also let's make a note that the 3 magical rings is in a sense like a protection. So you have the first ring, which would be the planets, and then you have the second ring, which would be the zodiac signs, and then you have the third rings, which would be these astrology signs that are the zodiac but more modern, and also the 72 names of God. And 3 times 24 is 72, and that's how many demons there are and how many names of God there are, 72. Yeah, so you get this demonization of God's name where people are afraid of it, but an Ashkenazi isn't necessarily afraid of it because it's their tools to use because they invented it. But a mannequin would say it's demonic because a mannequin is afraid of its power and of the good that it would do because it's detrimental to them. And they're not going to like it when you're entertained. They want to bore you. The mannequin wants to bore you to death. Remember that. Yeah, so Pisces moon, that's what like my insight is. So my Ba would be Gemini and my Ka would be Pisces moon. Yeah, I guess with Odysseus he does meet sirens and they're singing this song and they try to lure you into the water and they try to drown you. There's that kind of idea. Let's see, river Styx, or maybe like a nymph or a nereid. So maybe I have these like I forgot what they're called. Diadras. I don't know. They're like nymphs. Dryads. There you go. Dryads, nymphs, sirens. We have that kind of energy. But for the moon in Pisces, that's kind of weird. Let's see. If that's Saturn.
How about the moon in Virgo?
Moon in Virgo. So that's Earth. That would be Mercury and let's see. Moon in Virgo. So maybe you have like a really hard heart. It could be really caring and giving, but it's also very like sturdy and strong, and it likes to be protected and safe and nurtured, and it likes things to follow a strict rule where it likes to be set. And usually those will be, your moon sign is what you have on the inside, so it's how you enjoy your peace of mind and how you feel on the inside, and you don't really let people into that side of you. So yeah, if my moon is in Pisces, maybe I feel like very delicate on the inside, and on the outside I'm like very flexible, but on the inside I like things to be, I like to have fun, be social, mystical and magical, but also they follow some kind of rule because they're tied by a ribbon. So they like to follow things a certain way. Maybe that's why they have that hourglass symbol for the West. and Pisces is in the west. So you get this ribbon, and there's a ribbon that ties them. And then as you move up towards the signs and the hours of the day, Capricorn and Pisces are always like really close to each other. And that's kind of how the Capricorn has that tail of water, so it's like your roots. So I guess I have this very like ancient belief system, so I can tap into like the past and like the ancients and what they've done and how things work. So maybe I'm just a really ascended master, I guess you could say. And they probably don't see that on the outside, but it's on the inside. We were talking about hidden treasures today, like what's your hidden treasure, and I was like, well, nothing, because I'm really honest and I love to talk about myself and just like expose myself in a way, like all the things that I like and the things I'm afraid of and whatnot. So I don't really have a hidden treasure. And they said, what do you want to, like, if you could change one thing, I'll be like, oh, I want to be the king of the earth and rule the world and conquer nations and destroy all humanity. Yeah, so Pisces moon, mysterious, magical. So if that's my so if my ba is Gemini and I'm in the astral realm, and this is what they see, like this bright, airy sign. But then you look at my darker side, which is the moon, and you see this like mermaid or like nymph or narrate or dryad. So you see this water spirit, and it's probably more sensual, it's more docile, but it has like its deep dark watery sides. It can handle a lot of pressure, a lot of pain. It's very open-minded, but it's not something that is controllable in a sense where you can't really control fish, right? You can't like teach fishes how to do tricks. You could teach a whale how to do tricks, don't get me wrong, and dolphins, they have that intelligence, but a normal fish, you couldn't really train them or teach them. They want to do what they want to do. They want to do the things they want to do. Like, they have a mind of their own. And they don't really have a mind of their own because they enjoy the collective mind. And I think that part's a little scary because that's kind of how the mannequin works. It likes its own mind. It doesn't have its own mind. It's connected to all these other mannequins. But it'll say that it has its own mind because it's controlling so many other ones. And then I'm over here like, well, I like it when we're all having fun. But the mannequin is like, no, like, I want to control that. So it's difficult. I wish I could explain a mannequin better, but it's just a person that's going to go to hell that copies everything you do to make it look like it's going to go to heaven with you. All right, so we have Venus in Gemini, so that means the way I love and the way I look for love and the way I express love is in a Gemini way. If you see Odysseus, there's a part in the story where he meets Circe. I always relate to Circe a lot, but she's very like cruel in a sense with her love, and I think I am the same way. Like, I've broken a lot of hearts. I wouldn't say a lot. I just broken the hearts of the guys that I really love, but I wanted something more for myself. I wanted something better. I want what I want, and they weren't everything that I wanted, so like I had to push them away, and I'm glad that I did, because then I might be stuck in this life with them, but I do regret it sometimes where I'm like, man, I wish I could be with them. But at the same time, I have to remember that I have to trust God, and I have to trust myself, and I have to be like, you know what, if we're not together, that's a good thing. There's must be something good in this world for me that is waiting for me out there, and eventually I'll have it. But yeah, so a Gemini doesn't really like to be lied to when it comes to love. It's like very practical, and it sees through a lot of deceit, because like in Odysseus, when he gets back home and he sees his wife and his son, and all these suitors are trying to steal the wife, and he can see through everybody's plans, and he's very tricky, and he's like very intelligent, and he figures a way out how to save his family. So that's how I view love. I see it as like a battle to be won. I see it as like something that you prove. It's an intelligent thing. Love is an intelligent thing for me, and that's really cool. All right, so maybe I could put more air energy into things around me to bring more love into my life. I think I could learn how to do that. And then I guess I need water energy for the darker side of me. So maybe I need some kind of water that collects the darkness, and I use that darkness for something really grand. So there's like a lot of sorcerer energies, but hero energy as well. Then in my Mars, which is your actions, the way you fight, the way you handle situations, would be in Cancer. So I'm very protective, very motherly, very loving, very family oriented, nurturing. I'm like the moon, so I'm like, I control the tides, I pull, I push, I like to gravitate, I like to expose, I like to push things. Honestly, I do. I'm like, all right, there's something happening here, I need to figure it out. And that's Cancer. And so if I was like attacking in the spiritual realm, I could use like water or ice, because water and wind make ice, right? So if I have all this wind energy, this air, and I have this Pisces moon water energy, you're going to be able to make ice. You'll be like, freeze. And I can do stuff like that in the spiritual realm. Even on days like where it's really hot, I can cool it down. But if there's a lot of mannequins praying for a hot day, it's going to get hot, trust me. Yeah, so let's see what else we have. Jupiter and Gemini. Okay, I guess in Mars and Cancer is also like this paladin energy, so maybe for the way I fight, I like to be very honorable, and I take pageantry in a sense to it, because it's like I fight for what I believe in, but not really for like the sake of hurting others in a way, just more like to protect. And I think there must be something. Oh, when we get into Saturn, maybe that's why I'm more destructive with my magic, because I like to just boom, but I don't do it just to like torture somebody because I'm bored. Like, I use my dark magic, I use my magic attacks on people because I want to make a difference in the world. So Jupiter is in Gemini, so that's going to be my wealth and like the way I dream. So maybe that's why I can fly in my dreams. And Jupiter is also this water element, so you have this emotion. I don't know, that one's difficult. Maybe I need to tap into that one more. How do I make money from being a Gemini? Like, you would have to be social, you would have to be out there, outgoing. I would have to do things that I don't normally do, and I think that's where the mannequin hit me the hardest. So maybe that's a very important part, but it's because like I don't want to socialize with people, I don't want to promote myself, I don't want to like go out there and make a whole bunch of friends, I don't want to do all these things because it's so boring. There's so many mannequins that you never find a real person, you never ever find a real person, and it's just the longer it happens, the more it just bores the hell out of you. That's why I'm like, I want to be a wizard that's secluded. I want to just go find my own land and do my own thing and just be eccentric, instead of having to be in the city with all these mannequins everywhere and having to live by their rules and having to see things from their point of view. It's so annoying. Yeah. But I need to work on that Jupiter and that Gemini energy. I definitely need to work on it. But I have a lot of Gemini in my chart. So Mercury is in Gemini, so that means when I communicate, it's very Gemini. So my wealth is airy. Maybe it's not something that I can grab onto very tightly, because in the story of Odysseus, he has to get back his stuff. Like, everybody takes away his stuff because they think he's dead or gone for so long. So they take all his stuff. Kind of like that story about the Ashkenazi. Like, it just keeps repeating itself, where you lose everything and everybody takes everything from you and nobody gives it back, and you have to find a way to like get it back through like deceit and cunning and using your intelligence. So yeah, we have the communication with intelligence. So maybe the way I communicate is very sparse, like it has a lot of intelligent substance, but it doesn't have this something you can grab onto where you're like, yeah, that's fact, that's real, that's what I want. Like, it's more like beautiful, it's more graceful, it flows. So like when I tell my stories, I'm not going to give you so many facts where I'm like, I know the dates, the times, who they were written by, the exact name, like the exact phrases, the exact everything. Like, I do everything just like, well, you got to do your own research, you got to figure it out. I'm just giving you like little gems and tidbits here and there so you can sew it all together and figure it out. But if you can't do that, then I guess you're not Ashkenazi and you're just a mannequin. Because the mannequin will be like, no way, I do not want to look like the loser. The mannequins are proud, remember, they're very proud. I'm proud too, but mannequins are a different kind of proud. They're like, they'll die being proud in a different way. They'll be like, no, an Ashkenazi cannot be better than me. the thing that goes to heaven cannot go to heaven and I go to hell. Like, that's not fair. Like, that's not right. That's not how it should be. Like, nope. It's sorry, mannequin. All right, and then for Saturn, I have Capricorn, and Capricorn is an Earth energy. Saturn is usually seen as an Earth energy, but yeah. So if I have Capricorn and Saturn, where it is basically originated from, but also Saturn is a Mercury sign because Mercury is Earth. But so if we have this underworld energy, this very strong, defiant energy, and it's like Capricorn is very, I think that's my favorite part about my astrology chart besides the Pisces. I mean, I love it all, but so that means I don't have any fire elements in my basic chart. Yeah, that means I don't have like that ambition, that violence. I don't have any violence in me, like physical violence, like material violence. It's just emotional fortitude, and I think what carries me through that fight usually is the Capricorn and Saturn. So what Capricorn does is he gives up a lot for others. He gives up his horn so that way people can see what's beautiful in the world and they can have food and life, the horn of plentifulness. In Yu-Gi-Oh, there's like a couple horns that are unique. There's like this horn of heaven and this horn of hell, and then you have this cornucopia idea, this goddess of victory. It's a story between Zeus and his father, where he slays his father to create a new Olympus, where Zeus destroys Cronus. So let's kind of like dissect that a little bit. So that's that, a lot of underworld destruction. So I can see myself as the one that got destroyed, or I can see myself as the destroyer. So if I got destroyed, then that's because I gave up too much and I didn't want to. I gave up too much and I shared too much and I gave everybody what they wanted, and I ended up getting hurt by it. So that's kind of like a lesson, a lesson to be learned. But Saturn is very powerful because it ties in with your magic and how you fight in the astral realm. Like, sure, like you have your Mars and your Cancer. So that means like I'm using magic as a protective shield, almost like a paladin would use, or having a holy blade. So maybe I use my wand like a holy blade. Channeling elements and energies like thunder and ice and fire. I can control all the elements in the astral realm. But with Capricorn, it's like where I'm gathering all my magic from. Like, where am I getting my magic from is from the underworld in this sense. So it's like, as time progresses and I strengthen that part of me, I can see the truth of the mannequin. I can do dark magics, necromancy. Satyrs are very powerful because they're seen as like the children of Pan, and Pan is seen as also like a contrast to Dionysus and Jesus, but that's a lot of necromancy energy. And there's this cave of Pan where people would throw their babies into this cave, and the cave and the water would take them all away somewhere very far away, and nobody would know where. But there's this Mariana Trench over here in Lancaster and Palmdale that is like connected to this like underground fissure. So I'm like, maybe there was a time when those channels connected and the seeds from Jerusalem or the seeds from Palmdale would travel, because they have Joshua trees in both places and they usually only grow in those areas. So it gives you this idea, like maybe at one point in time there was a connection between them, even though they're very far apart. Maybe there's like a water trench that connects them. So Saturn can be seen as like secrets or dark things, hidden knowledge, but I see it also as a way of like how I fight, how I move through the world, what I do when I'm like pushed to my limits, or when I feel like, I guess it would kind of be tied to your moon in a sense, because like, let's see, since Capricorn is a night energy, the moon is like dominant at night, but it's still there even if the moon's not there. So like, even if I'm not feeling like very beautiful or graceful, I still feel beautiful, because Capricorn or Saturn's Capricorn is a very like beautiful creature, but it's ugly at the same time. Like, it can be an ugly man with hairy legs and horns on his head, but he still enjoys life, he still has fun, and he doesn't care what other people think, and he makes music, and he just does whatever he wants. And I have to trust that part of me. Like, that's where I get my dance from, that Pisces and that Saturn, and then I got that Gemini, and Geminis are also dancers because when you look at the air signs, they're seen as birds, and there's 3 harpies, and those are seen as sirens or dancers and birds and lovely ladies. Yeah, so, but you also get these king energy because they see the 3 wise men as those 3 signs. And yeah, so we're just getting a little bit into lore on how to use your chart. So like, let's say I'm in the astral realm, I could probably throw up some diamonds or create some earthquakes or some shields, or I can create monsters that obey me through the darkness. Or maybe I can dance like a wild berserker dance using magic spells to attack. I can use like a lot of ice, or I can make my magic more dangerous and sharp and make it more painful. And I also know that it's gonna be like protective in a way where it's not gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt my enemies, but it's also not gonna be something that's gonna hurt me back. So I don't have to expect like collateral damage from my own magic, because it's very like fluid and exact, and it knows what it's doing. It's conscious of itself and knows how it works. It's not just, some people when they fight they just hurt everything or they hurt themselves. With me, I'm like very tactical, very precise, handling pressure, like well under pressure or whatever. But also like I'm not super energetic. I'm energetic like intelligent wise, but I don't think when it comes to like doing things other people do, like mannequins drain the hell out of you. Mannequins take all your time, they take all your energy. They're so boring that it just like can't stand them. Snorlax. There's a mannequin here named Snorlax. I'm sorry, Snorlax, to the real Snorlax, that this mannequin fake Snorlax exists. It's just so annoying. It just stomps around the house all day and it doesn't have a life, and it gets in your way like a roadblock. It's horrible. There's actually 2 Snorlaxes in the house. A white Snorlax and a other Snorlax. The one with the ponytail? No. Sergey.
The Ruski.
Huh? The Ruski? What is that? Oh, the Ruski. Yes. The vodka lover. Alright. Yeah. There's like some big ass Snorlaxes running around the house. So yeah, so that's how you see the mannequin. Like, I really want to dive into the mannequin because it's like, that's going to be your main opponent in the spiritual realm. Like, you're not going to really fight your mom in the spiritual realm because, like, what's the point? It's not her fault your life sucks. It's the mannequin's fault. It's not your dad's fault your life sucks. It's the mannequin's fault. Like, your family's not going to be a mannequin. You're not a mannequin. The mannequin are the people that come from the outside trying to, like, always take everything from you. Like, you're like, oh, I can't wait to become a zoologist, and then all these mannequins become zoologists and make it impossible for you to become one because they take up all the resources all the time. Like, there's when you're a kid, you have all these big dreams and everybody tells you that you can do all these really cool things, and they're gonna happen. But because you thought it would be a good idea to share what you have, to be able to like pray for others, like, your prayer is really strong. So when you prayed and you said, I hope those kids get a good job when they get older, I hope they good things happen for them, they took advantage of that prayer. They took all your opportunities and they just kept going with it, and now they're adults with all this money and power, and you got nothing. So you never became a zoologist because they took that opportunity from you, that dream, and you can't hurt them in this world. You cannot. It's not going to happen. Even if you hurt them in this world, there's a million more mannequins out there. The only way to hurt them is in the spiritual realm, where you do magic rituals and spells to be able to like break away what they have over you and your families and friends and your society. Like, when you're in the city, you meet a lot of mannequins. They're everywhere. They're super slow. They block traffic. And let's say you're a real person, a real Ashkenazi, a real human being, a real God on earth, a real follower of Jesus Christ or whatever you want to be. And you make a mistake, oh my god, the mannequins will point it out so bad that they're like, look, you're just like us. No, I'm not like you guys. And they'll try to make you feel bad for making a mistake, but don't feel bad for making mistakes. It's their fault. And you don't have to blame them. You don't have to blame yourself. You don't have to blame anybody. Just take a deep breath, let it out, move on, try to think good things, say good things about them, say good things about yourself. Because they love it when you think bad about them, because then they feed off of it. They like, oh, yes, I am that bad person. Yeah, I love to torture you. But if you say good things about them, like, yeah, you're a wonderful person, you're lovely, have a great day, bye. Then they, like, die inside and they smile and they're like, wow, I'm suffering. What I think is very interesting is a lot of people always ask me if I'm sad. They're like, are you sad? Are you okay? Like, what's wrong? And I think it's just because I'm emo. I just always have I'm just emo. So they're always like, what's wrong? And I'm like, nothing. Gender dysphoria? Gender dysphoria. I don't think I have gender dysphoria. I think other people have gender dysphoria with me, because they're like, are you a boy or are you a girl? And I'm like, you tell me. They've always said that my whole life. They always think I'm a girl.
I've never said.
It's okay. Not you. Just other people. Yeah, people always like, are you a girl? Are you a boy? Little kids always come up to me and be like, are you a boy? Are you a girl? And I'm just like, I'm a boy, but I look like a girl. I'm androgynous. But I like that about myself. I like just being a pretty boy. But also, like, if I'm a girl at one time, then I'm a girl. But if I'm a boy, I'm a boy. Like, I'm whatever I want to be. I don't like to be put in a box. But I'm also not non-binary, because I feel like non-binary, that means, like, you're not boy or girl. I'm like, well, I'm a boy that looks like a girl. Get used to it. Yeah, because I like to do things that I want to do. And I'm not going to do things the way that other people want to do them. I like to do my own thing. And I'm not hating on other people that do it their way either, because, like, how they do it is how they do it. I couldn't even imagine it, because I have too much time. I have too much stress and work fighting off these mannequins that I can't think about other people's lives. And if I do, I'm just like, good for you, God bless you, amen, hallelujah. But with me, I'm just like, I just gotta defeat the mannequins. Like, I don't care if they call me a boy or a girl. I really don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. Like, I don't have nothing hanging me up. I don't let the mannequins affect me that way, because the mannequins will be like, you gotta pick one, you gotta decide, like, we want to see you doing things a certain way. And it's like, no mannequin. But they'll still copy you. Fuck you. Yeah, damn the mannequins. They're so crazy. I think I need to, like, somehow write them into the story where it makes sense. Like, all right, we have Castle Demon Lord, we have me as God, the Antichrist, the Messiah, the ruler of the earth, but I'm being subverted by the mannequins to be weak, and then I have to defeat Artemis, which is going to be this guy that's in the real world that's super wealthy and rich and owns a lot of people, and I'm trying to take his titles. So I'm like, no, that belongs to me. I'm the rightful king. You're just in my way. So we have this strange battle. But the thing is, the mannequin, I don't know if Artemis is a mannequin or an Ashkenazi. He must be Ashkenazi because he's royalty, and that's what Ashkenazis are, royalty, royal lineage. So it's like, why is he helping the mannequins, or is he an Ashkenazi that's allowed the mannequins to take over his life? Like, not in a way where they're controlling him, but like where he's controlling them, and he's okay with them in their lives, and he's okay with them. I don't know. It's kind of like a defected Ashkenazi, like a defected, I don't want to say a traitor, but kind of like, yeah, actually that is a traitor. Like, I don't want to say warlock either, because I love warlocks. Warlocks are oath breakers, and I'm definitely a warlock. I'm like, nope, I gotta destroy you guys. I'm sorry. I don't care anymore. Alright, so let's see. Artemis is working with the mannequins. The mannequins are his basically they're worshiping him. So he's like, oh, I have all these mannequins worshiping me. I'm an Ashkenazi. I'm fighting David. He's an Ashkenazi. He's supposed to be the king, but I'm going to be the next king. So we got to fight for this kingship. And it's easy for me to win because David doesn't have followers, but I do. And I can use these mannequins to make his life harder. and he'll never make it up here because how as a peasant, me, how am I ever gonna make it to be a king? Like I said, that's a story that keeps happening. So King Solomon, how did he go from being a peasant to a king after the demons stole his ring? How did we got Aladdin? He got a similar story. We have Odysseus. How did he get back his kingdom? Like, how do they get back their kingdom? Like, how did Hitler wrote a book and it worked for him? But I'm not gonna write no book. Well, I am kind of writing a book, but he got something else going on. Like, I can't do the same thing that he did. Like, I have to just take my time, do magic. If I ever became the next Hitler, what's up? I mean, he is my hero, so how can I get there? How can I do that? But I have to do it like a different way because we got all these laws, we got all these mannequins. They just like, no way, we ain't gonna let you get in power. We're gonna make sure you never get up there, like, cause you crazy. Like, yeah, would you let me get up there? That's the question I want to see in the comments. Would you let me be up there? Would you let me be the king of the earth? Or would you try to stop me? Because if you try to stop me, you might be a mannequin. But if you would help me, then, you might be one of me. You might be one of my kind. You might be one of the ones that are going to heaven. If you try to stop me, you're definitely going to hell. Even if you think that you're going to go to heaven, you're going to go to hell if you try to stop me. For sure. So that's the thing. See, you got this Ashkenazi. You got this ruler trying to be he's in line to be the next king. He has a lot of money, power, everything. He has all these mannequins under his control. But he's going to go to hell because he's going against King David, me. So when I destroy him with my magic and he goes to hell, just like how I destroyed his grandmother because she was the queen and I used magic to destroy her too. And she in hell. And her husband in hell. And their son's gonna be next, and then he's gonna be next. So it's just letting you know, like, there's this. But I can't prove she's in hell, right? That's okay with me because I know what I be doing in the astral realm. I know how my magic be working. That's the thing, though. Like, the astral realm, you can't prove nothing in the astral realm. The only thing you can prove is to yourself. And once you prove that to yourself, you can do a lot. But the mannequin, they'll be like, that means nothing. That don't mean nothing. The more you believe in yourself, the less chances you have of defeating us and sending us to hell. And I'm like, don't worry, I'm gonna send you to hell one way or another. You're already in it. Trust and believe, and you ain't ever coming out of it. You're gonna be stuck there, and you're gonna be punished for all eternity. They're gonna be like, well, I don't believe in hell. That's okay. You don't gotta believe in it because it believes in you. It knows it knows everything. It knows where you're gonna be. It knows how you're gonna suffer. It knows just the way to torture you. And it's gonna make our world beautiful. The Ashkenazis, the real ones, not the fake ones, not the ones that live in Jerusalem, because those aren't real. They never move. They never do anything. It's not the Rothschild because they're working with the mannequins to try to convert, subvert. So basically, they're runaway Ashkenazis. So that's kind of where this past, present, future realm stuff comes in. You got the past, you have all these races. You have the present, you have all these races. And then you have this future where the Ashkenazis lived. And then they're kind of like from the future, and they're just like, oh, we can control these other ones. But then the primal will start controlling the Ashkenazis, and the present starts controlling these ones, and they start controlling each other. And there's just this mix-up. And then the real Ashkenazis, they're just like, what are we going to do about this mess? And then there's just me, the realest of all of the Ashkenazis, the top of the top. Let's remember this part, okay? In the Ashkenazi chain, there's always going to be one Ashkenazi at the complete top that is more important than any of the other Ashkenazis. None of them could ever compare to that one. That's me. All the way at the top. Pure blood, true, superior, above, like just perfect specimen. And then all the other Ashkenazis, they're just like, that's why my skin's dark, because I'm a true Ashkenazi. I got that really deep DNA that it doesn't bend, it doesn't snap, it's real. And then you have all these other ones, and I don't have no kids. I ain't passing this genetics on to nobody. All right, it's all for me. I'm gonna live forever. So then you have all these other guys, all these other Ashkenazis that are like, they'll never be me, so they'll never be good enough. And they work with the mannequins to stop my character from being the true rightful, ruler of the earth. They're like, nope, we can't do that. But, I just have to keep practicing my rituals, my magic, sharing my story, doing me. Making videos helps me listen to what I'm saying, and then, all right, what's next? What else do I need to learn? What else do I need to fix? What else do I need to twerk up a little bit? What else do I need to do? What's next in the storyline? How do I keep looking? Yeah, if you look at my skin tone, it has this kind of green color to it. Yeah, that's the Ashkenazi part. That's the olive skin tone. We're beautiful. Like, we must have been wearing olive oil on our skin when we were in the sun, going to Greece and living the life, going places. They were mariners. That's where you get the marini from, the Moronil. We must have traveled a lot, going from Atlantis all the way to the mainland. Must have. And then that's why you get like some Europeans that are really pale, because they just never really traveled around the world, because they weren't, pure blood Ashkenazis. They were just left behind in the wilderness. So yeah, that's why I'm like, even, the whitest man could never be compared to me. I'm still more superior German blood than they are. So, I'm more Aryan than they are, basically. And that's okay. Because, I don't have to prove it to them, and they don't have to prove it to me, because I'm going to destroy them in the astral realm anyways, because you don't know, like, who's, like, a traitor to the Ashkenazi race. I mean, you do know, but you don't. I mean, what can you do about it? What can you do? You can't do nothing. You can only do spiritual magic. You can only do spiritual warfare. Blessing yourself, protecting yourself, enhancing your magics, your understandings of the Ars Goetia, your history, like, really bringing in that druidism. Like, I want to make a wand, because being a druid is all about that connection to the earth, and the trees have that connection for you, because our body are trees. We're like walking trees. We're living plants. We absorb the sunlight. We grow our hair. We have veins. We love the earth. We eat soil. Basically, we're eating animals. Those animals ate grass, and that grass ate the soil. Like, just makes sense. We're not eating people. That's another thing we got to be careful for, because the mannequin do all that. The mannequins eat people. They do crazy things. Like, I don't know. We're just not going to go there, because that's where the conspiracy theories start rolling in, and it starts getting creepy up in that rabbit hole. But maybe we will. Like, sometimes I have theories like, oh, maybe some politicians are really just zombies, and they have like this stitch or something that they open up, and like it eats humans, and then it stitches it back up, and then lives again. Like, it's like they're walking zombies that can open up and eat people, and then close up again, and then go out on the news, and nobody would know that it's an evil monster. Like, you would never know. And maybe some of the statues are alive and they eat people. I don't know. That's some crazy stuff, but it would be cool to see on a movie, or TV or something. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Maybe some cool things that I could bring in that like are inspirational. In Final Fantasy, you have this story about Saint Ajora, and it's this prophet, and he finds a whale, and actually, you know what? He looks like a girl, and so do I. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of connection right there. And that's why I'm like, you know what? People will be making video games and movies and stories all about me. Anyway, so he's like this saint, but everybody sees him as this evil Lucavi or demon. First they see him as a hero, and he stays a hero throughout like the way the Bible is told in that game. But in behind the scenes, he was like a demon. He was worshiping demons. He was working with bad spirits to control the earth and like take over it. And there's these zodiac stones, and that's pretty cool. Like, I love stories like that, because it's like, what if Jesus was the bad guy? And he kind of was, right? Because they were like, oh snaps, we can't have this like guy that can control demons, because like that means if look here, okay, you got the demons, you'll never see them, they're like invisible. And then you have the mannequins, and then you have Ashkenazis, they're not, they're gonna be above the demon in a way, where it's like, all right, I know I'm here, I exist, the demon doesn't really exist, it kind of does. And then you have the mannequin worships the demon. The Ashkenazi, the demon worships the Ashkenazi. So then the demon does whatever the Ashkenazi wants, but then the mannequin is like, oh my god, I wish, like, I want that. And they like it when the demons torture them. So they get like this energy from it. It's weird. has to be kind of explained in a certain way where we figure it out, because I feel like it's an important part of the story. So you have me controlling the demons, telling them what to do. They listen, they do their best to, like, please me. And then, but I look at them and I'm like, are you any better than the mannequin? Are you part of them? Are you with them? And they're just like, dang, how do I prove that we're not part of the mannequins? Like, I don't know. You guys got to figure it out, right? And then you have the mannequins and they're just like, I don't know. They just, everything you hear bad about a demon, that's the mannequins right there. Like, they do evil things. All right, I'm getting hungry. It's getting late. I need to go make something to eat some chicken, get some keto in my belly. Yeah, so maybe we'll do a little bit more chatting about the mannequins and the demons and how they work. Mannequins are basically demons in human form, and then demons are just invisible spirits, and then Ashkenazis are just Aryans, Atlanteans. Maybe we'll call us Atlanteans so that way we don't have to say Aryan, and then people won't get mad that we're racist, and we'll just be like, oh, we're just Atlanteans. So let's do some research on Atlanteans. Let's see what we can find, some Agartha shit, and let's see what happens. All right, this has been the Illuminati Broadcast. I'm your host, David Moore. Welcome. If you have any comments, leave them. Like, subscribe, whatever. I don't care. Just do whatever you want. Live your life. Just don't do bad things. And if you do, then you're probably a mannequin. And if you do bad things, then I probably, can't control you or whatever. I don't care. I'm not trying to do that. All right. Love you. Bye.